All right, this right here. So we are only going to do this once on our page, and then we're to educate, okay? And then we're going to just block the nonsense because this page is not for that, okay? If you don't believe, you don't have to believe. You don't have to believe, but you can scroll without putting this type of stuff on our page. You don't have to be LDS to follow us, but you have to respect us being LDS, right? Because we're not going to put up with this.
Heck no, you got the wrong.
You got the wrong one.
We going to clap back, real talk.
But we're going to do it educationally, and we're going to do it classy and with love.
My wife would love me. There's some other things I possibly could say, and I'm going to be raw and real with you. You can say what you want to say, and at the end of the day, and I'm going to say this before my wife go into it, if you ain't been to our church as an LDS members, meaning that you haven't had the experience, who are you? Who gave you the right to think that you can call us that?
Exactly.
You have no clue or no idea what goes on in our church. And obviously it must be you got something personally going on in your life.
Because hurt people, hurt people.
But maybe we'll just pray for you. How about that?
Rather than give you our opinion,
right.
we went to AI. So I am going to read verbatim, okay? Some of the information that Chadley gave us in terms of, is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints a cult? First, let's talk about the definition of what a cult is, just in case you didn't know. The original definition of a cult is a system of religious devotion and worship directed toward a particular figure or object. So in that sense, any group of devoted worshipers, even early Christians, could have been described as a cult. Even Jesus teaching the people, he would have been considered a cult following, and the people that followed him were a cult back in those days. Okay, just saying.
What she basically saying that if we wanted to call them a cult, we could have said that. We're not saying Jesus because we know how your mind
exactly
might work.
We're not saying that, but that by this definition, any religious Christian group could be called a cult. But bring it into modern day.
Bring it down, Jevonne. Bring it down.
It is a small religious group that is separated from and opposed to mainstream beliefs, often centered on a charismatic leader, and that controls its members in harmful or manipulative ways. That is the definition currently of a cult. Okay, Charlie, why would someone call our church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a cult? And this is what Chadley said. Most of the time, people use the word cult out of misunderstanding.
Ooh, you definitely
not actual study. Historically, critics label the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, LDS Church, a cult because it began outside of traditional Christianity. 2, it's tightly organized and committed. 3, they misunderstand temple practices, and I'm going to go a little bit into that. It says, because temple ordinances are sacred and not publicly discussed in detail, critics sometimes mistake that privacy for secrecy, and secrecy for suspicious behavior.
Like, why you mad?
So most accusations come from outsiders misunderstanding devotion, structure, or differences in belief, not from the church actually fitting the sociological definition of a cult. So why is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, why it's not a cult by definition?
Why is that?
If you compare the church to what experts define as a cult based on behavioral and sociological criteria, it doesn't fit. And here's why.
Tell them why.
So here's a characteristic of a cult. Number 1, authoritarian leader demanding worship or obedience. Our church, the church has prophets and apostles, but worship is directed only to Jesus Christ. Members are taught to seek, members are taught to seek personal revelation and use agency. I'm going to read that again because that's probably what you were about to say.
Right.
The church has prophets and apostles, but worship is directed only to Jesus Christ.
The man upstairs.
Not Joseph Smith, not Mormon, who the Book of Mormon was abridged by. Only Jesus Christ. Second, another characteristic of a cult, isolation from the world. Our church, members are encouraged to serve in their communities, pursue education, and build families. Missionaries go into the world. They're not hiding from it. Third, characteristic of being a cult. Suppression of questioning, our church. The church invites members to ask questions and seek truth through prayer, study, and the Spirit. Leaders emphasize personal spiritual growth and agency. And I put on top of that, personal revelation. They want you to ask. Okay. Fourth characteristic of a cult, financial or sexual exploitation, our church. The church has strict moral standards, transparent finances for humanitarian aid, and zero tolerance for exploitation or abuse. The fifth characteristic of a cult claims exclusive salvation only through loyalty to one leader. Our church. The church teaches that Christ is the only name by which we are saved. Membership doesn't equal salvation. Faith and repentance through Jesus Christ do. So by every sociological and behavioral standard, the church does not meet the definition of a cult. It's a worldwide Christian faith centered on Christ, family, service, and covenant living. So no, we are not a cult. And the mere name of our church is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
What would they say? What they say? Tried, tested, triggered,
triumphant. Go check yourself before you wreck yourself, and that's old school.